Let's take a minute and talk about how to get rid of people. It's not a great way of saying it, but how to get rid of people who drag you down. Let's move fast through this thing. One thing you need to keep is perspective, and that is to accomplish anything in life, it's going to take effort. And you don't live life on a flat plane. You're always climbing mountains. So you're always sweating. And if you have a team, you have all of the activity, things you've got to do, and everybody behind you is helping to push the activity up the hill. Now, if you're the leader, and you're orchestrating this and trying to move higher and higher, and you have someone in here who comes along and they just want to be a troublemaker. They don't want to stop. They want to get people not focused here, but want to get them looking over here. What happened back here? What's going to happen? What happens here? Or what happens 15 years from now when the world changes and the United States crumbles? 300 years from now, we have a new world government. Will the company do this, or will we have this product? It's like, can you shut up and do what we need to do today? And so you have people that are mind are full of all kind of stuff, and you want to let them grow up. Sometimes, kids have short attention span. But if you're the job, you're in charge of getting things done, keeping everybody on track, moving forward. You want to get this thing done, and you can tolerate a lot of that childish questions and immature behavior and all, as long as it's not disruptive. But occasionally someone is disruptive, you're going to have to deal with them. And that's the line of distinction. That's how you know, now I've got to go talk with them. Now I've got to deal with them, because it's disruptive to all the positive work everybody else is doing. Now, hopefully you'll never have to use this information, but that you'll never reach that point. But knowing how you're going to handle it, having an ace up your sleeve, having a card you can play, will give you, that knowledge will give you confidence. And that'll cause you to be a stronger leader as you're doing all of your other leadership. You're dealing with people, because as you see people not cooperating, getting sidetracked, off track, if they get to the point where they keep going too far and they're disruptive, clearly disruptive, you know what you're going to do with it. So it's going to give you strength, it's going to give you confidence, and it's going to let you know that when you get someone, see, what people are supposed to do is they're supposed to work or get out of the way and let people who are working, let the adults do the work. But there occasionally somebody comes along and they don't get it. And so we're going to give you some ideas on that. Basically, it comes down to you keep doing your job, driving the team, and you wind up getting too busy for them, and you keep your people are too busy to where they'll wind up getting the message. But if that doesn't happen, you're going to know how to handle it. And this is not just something we have to deal with, folks. There's going to be negative people. There's always somebody negative around. They don't mean to be negative, but they're negative. And even the dolphins sleep with one eye open. So let's take a look going forward. Here's what's going to work 98% of the time. Here's what's going to work. First of all, you focus on winners. The rule of management, you only have 24 hours in the day, and so where are you going to spend your time? Your time is like money. You want to focus on the winners, the people who are winning, getting results, but also winners in making the effort. By who you spend the time with, who you focus on, who you get your input from, that sends a message to everybody else. These are the role models you should be copying. And the other thing is you stay on the attack. You stay moving, pushing for growth. You keep yours and everybody else's eyes firmly on moving forward, and you don't allow slack in the rope. When you allow slack in the rope, you allow the busybodies to start speaking up, interfering. But when you're moving and you're focusing on the people getting things done, there's not a lot of free time for the people who are activity unemployed to speak up and interfere. And then you stay on track. You keep running the numbers up. It's not 1 month or two. This is your job. You keep running forward, because your company, if you're a CEO, you're supposed to hit your quarterly numbers, stay employed. If you're running a business, you're under the grow or dive thing. Plus, it proves you know what you're doing, and people should follow your leadership. It gives you your strength. You earn your credibility in leadership by getting results. So if you're not focusing on the winners who are actually doing the work, you're not on the attack, you're not continuing to push forward, people are going to wonder about you. And you want to make sure I ain't the problem here. We might have some problems here, but it's not me. On the other hand, you're always nice to everyone. The thing is, some of today's duds may become tomorrow's stars. And so you never know. We never know who is percolating. And if, most organizations, 80% of the people are not going to be doing a whole lot, but that is where people are percolating and growing, and that's out of that mist emerges your next generation of stars. So you don't want to be running people off all the time, alienating them, but you want to let them know that you're going to give them room to turn around. You're going to give them positive examples to follow. And another thing here is, again, you are not going to slow down. You're going to stay on the attack, and you're not going to slow down for the slackers. No slowing down, no looking over your shoulder. What happened? Send some, you might send some people back, send some supplies, but your focus is on the growth because that keeps everything running. It's like a high tide raises all boats. You want to stay on the attack to keep the overall energy and excitement level up because you're producing. And if you get sidetracked on the losers, then everybody gets drugged down. And so the sixth thing, you send a message. What half this does is you're sending a message all the time, constantly, that it's their job to keep up. They've got to keep up because the team is not going to slow down. So that gives you some ideas there. I'd also say, you run your program, you can continue to run your program for your bigs, your big hitters, your big producers. Let the small producers know they're welcome. You need thousands of them, but you're running a program for your bigs. So when the smaller people are ready to make the effort, they're able to get their skill level up where they can become big, that the focus is going to be on them. In other words, they haven't arrived when they're small. And so what you're going to find is running a program like this, people will fade. Most of the people are not going to last long term, will just quietly disappear into the sunset. And they will just, 1 month they'll be there, and another month, you just can't remember when they left. It's much like when you go to a 7-Eleven and you got your hands full and you stick your Coke you just got, stick it on top of your car. While you unlock the car, you put your stuff inside, you drive off, you forgot your Coke was on top, as a mile down the road, you say, uh-oh, I forgot about my Coke. You pull over and the Coke blew off. When did it blow off? Sometime. You never noticed it. It was outside the car. Well, that's what happens. They move to the peripheral of your business, and then eventually they just blow away. But, one good thing is sometimes that's your boss. You get a boss, you're in a company where your managing trainer is a nightmare. If you just keep your head down, do your job, and look up in several months or a couple years down the road, you might find that boss is long gone. So it works both ways. Now, if all else fails, there might be one or two that you just have to speak to. You just have to have a conversation. You wonder, you'd love to say to them, because it becomes obvious they're disruptive. They just got to get out. But you don't want to just tell them just to get out because they may be clients. Now, the easiest thing is go in there, express your frustration and unload on them, but they may be friends. They may be clients. And later, next year, something later, they might come back, do a total turnaround. People do change and come back and be stars. So there's no advantage in alienating them, having a temper tantrum. But the thing is that there are things you could say to them, phrases that would make all the difference in the world. Real quick, I'm going to give some of those to you. These are things that have worked over and over at the right time. And it just helps you to know what to say to let them down easy, sit them on down the road in a good frame of mind rather than unload on them and say, look, I'm embarrassed. I'm the coach here. I'm supposed to be in charge of getting results. It's just not, I feel bad because it's not working. You came in here, you're plugging into our system, you're following what we're telling, but it's just not working. For some reason, I'm not getting across what it is I need to get across. And I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. I mean, it's not your fault, it's my fault. And let's just say that you want to learn this thing. You're hanging around, you're asking questions. So I'm assuming you want to learn this thing. And the only assumption I've got is got to be me or you. And it looks like it's me because I am not getting across income to get a team to have success, to get across. So we need to deal with it. Somehow it's just not clicking. Continue. Let's just say it's not my fault, not your fault. And so we need to do something. I just don't think I think it's time for me to fire your coach. And let me tell you why. And I have your teacher. See, I have income in a different situation. It may take some, but I've got other people. I've got a business. We've gone as far as we're going to go. On the other hand, you have nothing. Tell me if I'm wrong, but we've gone here to get as far as we're going to go under this arrangement. We're in a losing cycle. We're like a gerbil on a, you're in a gerbil in a treadmill and going as far as you're going to go. So it's just time to make a change and time for a fresh start. And who knows? Things could change. I may think of something. We may evolve as a company. You may make some breakthroughs. But right now we've got to, here's what's going to happen. And here's what's going to happen. We're going to break this losing cycle because it's not hurting me, but it's not doing you any good. And we got to break the losing cycle and get you somewhere where someone could get you on a winning cycle. You agree with that? Get where that you're doing things on a daily basis that's going to turn into income for yourself. And so we got to get on the track and we got to get past the emotion. I don't like to talk to you like, bring it like this. I would prefer we're talking about success, but it's time for both of us to be adults. We got to deal with this thing, take a stand. And let's face it, we owe it to the people in our lives to deal with these things. And if this is like a weed in your life that you just got it, it's just not working. You thought this was going to pay out, and this is just not a fit right now. We could ignore it. It's only going to make it worse. But if we deal with it, even though it might be a little bit of pain, we know there's some place where this thing will work. And if we deal with it now, you can move forward. So anyway, I thought I would just have this conversation with you. Let's see if we can get you situated somewhere else right now and change things where you can start to get on an activity track that's going to get you making money. That's some ideas for you to use. Something like that should send you in the right direction. Hopefully y'all will never have to use that. But if you ever get in that situation, that's how you can rid yourself of some people who are being disruptive, who are probably pretty good people. But right now, they don't see it, and you don't know how to get across to them to make a change, and you can't really afford to have them around anymore. All right, that is how you get rid of people who drag you down.